All right, everybody, let's begin just sitting comfortably. Backed by somewhat popular demand, we're going to revisit the 7 chakras or 7 main energy centers, but with a different angle, slightly different angle. I found an interesting article on Elephant Journal written by Shai Tubali, and it's called How to Open All 7 Chakras to Experience Life in its Totality. And he relates the 7 main energy centers to the psychologist Abraham Maslow's theory of hierarchy of basic human needs. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. He came up with it in the 1940s, I believe, and it's basically a pyramid which categorizes human needs from the most primitive or foundational, like water, air, shelter, food, feeling safe, belonging. And it goes up to layers of needs from relationships with others being healthy and relationship with self and success in life in areas of work and play, to the highest level, which is self-actualization. And it's a spiritual level. So very similar and parallel to the 7 main energy centers. So he says that the first one, which we'll focus on today, so we'll do one each day, is about physical stability. And how about that? Remember that the Muladhara or root energy center, found in the area at the base of the spine, is much about feeling safe. And he calls it, or he layers it as experiencing life as biological and physical. So it's on that level of experience. And there are 3 components that he points out. One is being able to rely on our body, knowing that it's healthy, well-nourished, flexible, and resilient. Yoga asanas, great way to practice that. And the second component is feeling that we have a home to return to and at least one framework to which we belong, like some group affiliation or identification, like a community here on Zoom. And the third component is the ability to rely on our life's structure and lifestyle, like having a healthy routine, reliable income, proper time management, like having a regular space that you create for yourself for self-care. So in these ways, we can meet this primitive basic need according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This first one of physical stability, which has much to do with opening and balancing and aligning our root energy center. So we'll dive into grounding postures, as well as how we can maintain the feeling of grounding even when we're in a challenging posture that might, from the external appearance, not seem so grounding. But how do we carry that into other areas of being? And our meditation is going to be a cooling breath work, practicing more ways to feel connected physically to Earth. So find a comfortable seat. Anchor down through your pelvis and feel what you are sitting on. Bringing intention into spreading your weight through every part of your body that is touching that seat. And as you do that, let your hands rest in your lap. Close your eyes. Allow a moment to mentally transition from whatever you were doing before this, wherever you were before this, to right here and now. Feeling the space around you, the stillness, and how that physical environment supports your time to spend with yourself, to look inward. As you begin to pay more attention to your breathing and how it's sustaining your body, enlivening your lungs, nourishing every cell in your body. Diving deeper into the breath. Feel the exhales as well, out through your mouth. Feel the sensations in your body, including discomfort, including openness and strength. As you tune into what your body needs to perhaps feel a little more rooted, centered, to facilitate the mind and emotions to feel calm and focused. Has your body been moving a lot today, very physically active? Perhaps you're going to choose more stillness and slow movement in your asana practice, or vice versa. Perhaps you're going to energize and look for a little perspiration, but all with loving kindness. Tuning in with presence. So take a moment to define, what is it your body needs in this practice today? To feel grounded, to feel attended to by you. And then overall, what do you need in this practice today? So that in meeting our needs, we're better able after this practice to also be present for others, to share the best of ourselves. Let's join the hands together at the heart. So the seed sound mantra of the root energy center is LAM, L-A-M. Let's open the practice chanting that. Take a deep breath down into the pit of your belly. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Consciously expand your belly as we prepare for 1 minute of bellows breath, warming, energizing, mind-calming pranayama, Bastrika. I'm going to look at my watch for that. So just a quick reminder, we begin with the elbows bent, hands like fists, sitting tall with the shoulders relaxed, breathing through the nose, equal inhale and exhale into the belly using the diaphragm. When we inhale, we raise the arms up and spread the fingers. And when we exhale, we rebend the elbows and fist the hands. Rhythmic breaths. So let's prepare. Ready? Begin. And relax. Breathing naturally, still closing the lips. Allow a moment to observe. Start to sustain the breath into Ujjayi Pranayama to warm the body up still and create a whispering sound by softly narrowing the back of your throat to steady the mind on. Balancing the breath, softly open your eyes. And let's begin lying on your back. If you have a strap, place it near you as you lie on your back. So bending your knees, lifting your legs off the floor, Lengthen the lower back, relax the shoulders down, and just take hold of your bent knees and begin to circle your thighs together and apart, inhaling, exhaling through the nose. Switch directions a few times or rotate the legs in any way, making it more organic as you feel into any part that might feel tense or tight. Throughout the hips, lower back. And then from here, separate the knees into happy baby pose. So the knees are about outside of your shoulders, either catch hold of your calves, your ankles, or outer feet, and ground your shoulders and tailbone. As you hold your legs, parallel your feet to each other and let the soles of your feet face the sky. And then try to pull the feet apart gently while still grounding the tailbone, drawing the knees closer to the earth, broadening your sacrum. If it feels good, you could rock side to side. Let's take just 3 more breaths here in happy baby pose. Now keep the right leg in happy baby and extend the left leg forward on the ground. You can even use your left hand to weigh down the very top of your left thigh. Go ahead and flex your left foot, pressing the big toe mound forward. Now here, you might prefer to use a strap. We're still gonna keep the right knee bent downward just like it was in happy baby. It's up to you. See what's more comfortable to allow your neck to lengthen naturally. Just a couple more breaths. So we're basically practicing lizard lunge, supine, or lying on your back. See if you can tack your right outer hip or sitting bone downward or forward towards your inner left heel. Because as we lift a leg to one side, it sometimes will cause that hip to hike up closer to the armpits. Just try to level out your 2 hips, equally spaced from both shoulders. Take 1 more breath in. Now cross your right ankle over your left thigh, bending the left knee into a figure 4 shape with legs. Flex the right foot, and let's take thread the needle for a few breaths, either pressing your right hand against your inner right thigh to gently splay the thigh further open, or with 2 hands, the right hand threading between the thighs, catching hold of your left thigh or shin, and gradually bringing that left leg closer to your torso, while keeping the head and shoulders resting on the floor. Let's take just 3 more breaths here. Now, for some of you, if you're feeling pretty open in the hips and your right calf is pretty close to your chest, you could pull the right foot and knee in between the crooks of your elbows like you're holding a baby, and re-extend the left leg forward if you're itching for more sensation in your right hip. Now let's take 1 more deep breath. So this is like a supine single pigeon pose. Rebend your right knee, draw it in towards your chest, lift the head and shoulders, contract the belly, hold here, extend the arms forward, framing the right leg, lift the left heel 2 more inches off the floor, or 2 inches off the floor if you'd like a little more rigor. Breathe in, exhale 3, inhale, keep lifting the head and shoulders, exhale 2, inhale, reach the fingertips towards the front wall, exhale, relax both legs on the floor. Reach the arms overhead, take a deep breath, and exhale through the nose, rebending left knee. So straighten the right leg. Let's recreate happy baby with just your left leg. Splay the left knee to the outside of your left shoulder, raising the sole of the left foot to face the ceiling. Now catching hold of your outer ankle or foot, or using a strap to hold the ball of your left foot if you want more space to relax the shoulders away from the neck. So notice if you're hiking up the left hip closer to your left shoulder here, consciously draw your left sitting bone forward towards your inner right heel. And do flex your right foot. You can use the right hand to weigh down the top of your right thigh as well, just to feel that the backs of your hips are both evenly grounded. Just a couple more breaths here in this supine version of lizard lunge. Now from here, rebend the right knee, flex the left foot and cross the left ankle over your right thigh into a figure 4 shape. either choosing to press your left hand against your inner left thigh to gently splay your left thigh open, or going further into the hip open, threading the left hand between your thighs, with two hands catching hold of the back of your right thigh or the front of your right shin. And as you breathe, just feeling out how close is a good balance to bring that right leg towards your torso. Balance of effort and ease. If you see that your left calf is pretty much really close to your chest and you'd like more sensation in your left hip, you could cradle your left foot, left knee between the crooks of your elbows like you're holding a baby. Re-straighten the right leg forward, flexing the right foot. And stay here for a couple more deep breaths, resting the head and shoulders on the ground. Now, either way, keep flexing your left foot so that you cannot see the sole of your foot from where you are. You're pressing the big toe mount of that left foot towards your right wall, helping to stabilize the knee joint. Now, on an exhalation, rebend the left knee towards your chest. Keep flexing the right foot. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Contract the belly round, lifting the head and shoulders. If you'd like more rigor, lift the right heel 2 inches off the floor. Extend the arms forward to frame your left leg, palms facing each other. Let's take 3 breaths. Inhale, keep contracting the belly in. Exhale, 3. Inhale, reach the fingertips towards your front wall. Exhale, 2. One more breath in. Feel the curling inward. Exhale, release both legs straight on the floor. Raise your arms overhead. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gather both knees into your chest and round into a ball by contracting the belly. One more. Inhale, flatten on the ground. Get long from fingertips to toes. Exhale, contract and round. And now begin to rock and roll side to side or forward and back a few times so that you can build enough momentum to rise in a standing forward fold. Right up at the top of your mat. Separating your feet hips width or wider apart, parallel your second toes. Take your forward fold any way that feels good for you right now. If the fronts of your shoulders are feeling a bit tense and you want to open them, you could interlace the fingers behind your back, maybe hold a strap between the hands and reach the arms forward. If your spine needs a little more unwinding, you could bend the knees a lot, catch hold of opposite elbows and sway the spine, softly shake and nod the head. Or if you want a wrist stretch, on your palms, either face up or face down, and take a few half forward folds and fold. Just 3 more breaths of your choice of Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe a spinal twist, reaching one arm to the sky, and then the opposite. Now from your forward fold, shift a little more weight forward towards the balls of your feet and activate the front of your thighs. You might keep at least a little bend in the knees. Press your fingertips either on blocks or the ground ahead or your legs, just don't press your knees. As you firm the belly towards the back, inhale, lift the spine parallel to the floor and pause and Ardha Uttanasana. Half forward fold for a few breaths. Keep lengthening forward through the top of your head, gazing on the ground just ahead of you towards the tip of your nose. Draw the shoulder blades back, lift the navel in, lengthen the sides of your waist. Take another deep breath, try to keep all of this length in your spine and exhale, fold. Still keeping the length, inhale, rise, reaching the arms overhead, seal the palms and gaze up. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale again, hinge with a long spine. Inhale, press with your fingertips, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands. Let's step into plank pose, top of a push-up. We're gonna hold for about 5 breaths. So if you choose, you can lower your knees for more support. See that your wrists are directly under your shoulders, and if knees are on the ground, they're directly under the hips. Now gaze on the floor ahead of your hands and find the natural curve and length of your neck. Broaden across the shoulder blades. Lift the lower belly. Engage the fronts of the thighs. With a slow exhalation, glide way forward before bending the elbows back to hug your side ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then come all the way down. Press the tops of your feet onto the floor, inhaling into Cobra. Slide the shoulder blades down the back as you broaden your collarbones. Tuck the toes behind you. Exhale into all fours, hands and knees. Before we go even further, we're going to just bring attention into how we stabilize our shoulder blades using the lats. So with wrists under shoulders, spread the fingers really wide. This is a very subtle movement, different from cat-cow. Here's cat-cow, right? This movement is protracting and retracting the shoulder blades. Think of your shoulder blades as two windows that slide together and apart. That's protract is apart, retract is together. So we'll inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You want to keep the crown and the tailbone in the same line. Exhale, we'll spread the shoulder blades apart. That's using the lats. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together like there's a marker you're holding in between them. And then exhale, spread the shoulder blades apart. Notice the belly stays engaged and slightly lifted the whole time. Think of your spine trying to maintain a flat back while you're moving the shoulder blades in isolation. So try 3 to 5 more breaths like that. If you want to feel the contrast between the two, so that when you're holding plank pose, you're not doing the retraction, that squeezing of the shoulder blades. Instead, you're doing the protraction, which is the broadening apart of the shoulder blades. We're going to use that even later for some other postures. So once you re-broaden the shoulder blades, come back to your version of plank. Let's hold for 3 more breaths in your plank. Engage the lower belly, draw the shoulder blades away from the neck, gaze forward, feel the protraction, the separation of the shoulder blades. And then lift the pelvis, downward facing dog. A few breaths. If you like, you could pedal your feet. You could shift around for this first one and loosen up in any way. Now bend your knees and lift your heels and hips high, looking past your fingertips. Take a deep in breath, and at the end of the out breath, hold it, lift your pelvic floor, engage the belly, and walk or float with a light jump to the top. Then press your legs to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest into half forward folds. Exhale, fold again. From down through the feet, inhale, sweep the arms, rising up to Urdhva Hastasana. Then exhale to mountain pose. Let's flow 3 times continuously with a breath. In sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep the space around you. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, expand your heart forward. Plant your hands and step to lower or float back to Chaturanga. Inhale into Cobra or upward facing dog at your pace of breath. Then exhale into downward facing dog. As we hold downward dog for a few breaths, let's check in with alignment. Feel your fingers spread, your weight shifting up through the sitting bones and back down the backs of your legs and heels. Knees can be as bent as necessary to feel the full length of your spine. As you drop the head, create width across the shoulders by rotating triceps or outer upper arms towards the ground. Lifting the shoulders, drawing the belly in. Now bend the knees and lift the heels. Look past where you want to land your feet. At the end of the exhale, hold the breath out and lift your pelvic floor, walk or lightly jump. Inhale, press to lengthen half. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, easing up as the shoulders remain relaxed. Exhale to your heart center. Moving with your intention. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank to lower or float to Chaturanga as you exhale. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Now this time take your own 3 to 5 breaths. And as you deem you're ready, float or walk to the top of your mat and take the last Surya Namaskar A at your own pace. Let's meet in downward facing dog. few breaths in downward facing dog. Let's step the feet together to touch there. Pressing the mat away with fingers spread, lifting the shoulders, relaxing the neck. On an inhale, raise your right leg behind you. And as you exhale, turn out the right thigh at the hip and begin to circle the right leg at the hip joint just for a few breaths. Go in any direction, it feels good. Now, as you do that, be mindful to tack your left hip back so as not to shorten the left side of your lower back. And also to try to evenly square the shoulders to face the front of your mat. As you re-square both hips, straighten the right leg behind you and take a deep breath. As you exhale, come forward to plank and tap right knee to right tricep. Hollow the belly, hover forward, then inhale, re-extend the right leg. Let's try that slow motion twice more. Deep inhale. Exhale, come forward, right knee, taps right outer upper arm. See if you can tap even a little bit higher, close to the armpit. One more, inhale, right leg back. We're gonna sustain that tap. Exhale, right knee to right outer upper arm. Pause here. See if you can press the ground away and lift the belly. Maybe the right knee goes a little higher. Take another in breath. Then softly land right foot directly between your hands for warrior two. Spin the back heel down. Align right heel to arch of left foot and cartwheel your arms to rise up. So here in warrior two, let's bring the hands behind you and interlace the fingers. Wrap both arms to your right hip and imagine that you're squeezing the tennis ball between your elbows. Broadening both collarbones, especially your left collarbone. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and feel your right knee bend just over the heel. If you're looking for more rigor, have a wide enough stance so that right knee doesn't bend past the heel. Wrapping your right outer hip down under your body, feel the turnout of your right leg as the left leg slightly turns inward. Pressing the earth firmly with the outer edge of your left foot, feel the alignment or orientation of the bowl shape that is your pelvis. As you lift the frontal hip bone slightly, let your tailbone anchor downward towards the earth, a feeling of rootedness, of grounding. Lift up to the center of your spine, relaxing the shoulders, and steady your gaze just past your right shoulder towards your front wall. Now, keeping your legs in warrior two, unwind the arms straight into the traditional posture of Virabhadrasana 2. Reaching through the fingertips. Take another 3 deep breaths. The energetic qualities that this posture often promotes is that of groundedness, focus, clarity. Flip the right palm up and sweep it overhead for one inhalation, keeping the right knee bent, peaceful warrior. Then lower your two hands to frame your right foot, optional vinyasa, or simply step back to downward facing dog. However you want to vary this part. Knowing you could always set your knees down and rest in child's pose anytime. When you do arrive in downward dog, bring your feet to touch. Then raise the left leg behind you, bending the knee, turn open at the hip. Allow a few breaths to just explore rotating that left leg at the hip socket some more. Any direction that feels good. Draw your right outer hip towards your rear wall and continue to evenly lengthen both sides of your torso and shoulders, dropping the head. Now let's move to the breath. Square both hips. Inhale, straighten the left leg behind you. Exhale, come forward to plank, tapping left knee outside of left upper arm. 2 more, even slower if you can. Inhale, raise the left leg back. 3-legged dog. Exhale, tap left knee high on the outside of left upper arm. Last one, we're going to sustain that tap. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, left knee close to armpit on the left tricep. Pause here. Press the ground away. Feel the rebound to lift the belly. Then lightly as you can on an exhale, set the left foot down just between your hands and spin the right heel flat. Heel to arch alignment, cartwheel the arms apart. Warrior two. So as you bend the front knee just over the heel, feel your weight even through both legs. Then let's reach the hands behind your back. switching the interlacing of your index finger that naturally goes on top, if you can feel the difference. Then hug your elbows close together as though you're squeezing a tennis ball between the elbows, and wrap both arms to your left hip, outside of your left hip. So we're focusing on broadening your right collarbone especially, but both collarbones. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Notice if your bottom front ribs begin to pop out towards the right wall, like mine start to do here. So just soften them downward towards the pubic bone. And then decide how deeply you want to bend the left knee if 90 degrees, have a wide enough stance. Now feel the orientation of your bowl-shaped pelvis. As you lift the frontal hip bones by firming the lower belly, draw your tailbone downward to point at the earth. Then feel the rise of energy up your spine and crown. Deep inhale. Exhaling through the nose. Steady your gaze just past your left shoulder. Now let's open the arms and feel the consequential, hopefully a little more ability to reach back to that right fingertips. Because we're gazing forward towards the front leg or towards the front wall, often where we're gazing to, we gravitate or lean towards, like in the spine, so that opening up the right shoulder is to really find our center physically. Let's take 3 more breaths. Flip the left palm to face the sky. Keep the legs in warrior 2. Laterally lean towards the back of your mat for 1 inhalation in peaceful warrior. Cartwheel the hands to the ground and exhale to lower through chaturanga if you want to take a vinyasa, or however you want to change it up. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Slow exhale. Now imagine, as you look at the top of your mat, your feet landing outside of your hands, your legs turned out from both hips into your choice of a squat. One could be sitting on the floor and separating the heels even wider than mat width. One could be standing like in horse stance, where the feet are much wider apart than the width of your mat. Or you could be hovering your pelvis off the floor, where the feet are just slightly wider than hips width. So you can either walk or jump your feet to the outside of your hands. Find your squat. So of course, not forcing anything that doesn't feel right in your body. If you are hovering your pelvis, you also have the ability to sit on something, like a yoga block if that's nearby. So use your arms, perhaps your elbows if you're down low, to splay the inner thighs apart and draw your shoulders back and down. Join your palms together at your heart, if that's possible, and in the height that you're squatting, and then lengthen. Tailbone towards the earth, crown towards the sky. Feel stability through both of your feet as you spread your toes. Couple more deep breaths. Now as we begin to heel toe the feet parallel to each other, touching, come into a forward fold. Bend your knees to touch. Inhale into chair pose. Gliding your back against an imaginary wall, exhale all the way down to sit, either catching the legs or arms free into boat pose. 7 breaths. Sit tall, spine long, breathe in. Exhale, 7. Inhale. Exhale, 6. Knees can be bent or legs straight. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Calm, balanced breath. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Draw the lower belly inward and up. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Deep breath in. Exhale, 2. 1 more. Inhale. Cross the ankles, flex the feet. Plant your fingertips on the ground outside of your hips. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, visualize, whether it physically happens or not, lifting your pelvis off the floor. Maybe switch the cross of your ankles and try one more time. Take a deep breath in, lift the pelvic floor, exhale. And then whether you cross the shins behind you, swing the legs back, scoot the legs to the side, come back to downward facing dog. What an interesting transition, huh? So from downward facing dog, with your feet hips width apart, square the hips, inhale, raise the right leg behind you. This time as you exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, contract the belly, round the spine, pause. This time I'd like you to focus on what your shoulder blades are doing. Remember that protraction, the spreading the shoulder blades apart? Feel that, the activation of your latissimus dorsi right under your armpits on the outer sides of your ribs. Take another breath in. Step the right foot just inside of the right hand, warrior one. Spin the back heel down, keep your hips facing forward, and then firm down through your feet. Slowly rise up, arms overhead. Feel your weight pressing down through both feet, especially the outer edge of your left foot. Now as you draw the left outer hip forward and tack the right outer hip back, lifting the frontal hip bones, feel that neutral orientation of your pelvic bowl. Then lengthen through the sides of your waist and bend your elbows apart, crossing right elbow over left into Garudasana arms, eagle arms. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms and press the shoulders further down as you lengthen your neck. Now as you lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders, gently press your forearms away from your face and feel again the protraction of your scapula. Now from here, just begin to tilt your spine forward while scissoring right hip back so you're just hovering the belly off the right thigh. Lift the lower belly, gaze at the ground ahead of your mat, and relax the shoulders down. Take a couple more breaths. Shifting more weight onto your right foot, we're going to wrap the left leg over the right into full eagle pose. Flexing the left foot as soon as it leaves the ground will help you to control the motion. Spine upright. Now you could flex the left foot outside of the right leg, or if possible, tuck the left toes behind your right calf, in which you'll probably need to scissor the left hip further back to align both hips to face forward again. If you can, sit a little lower. That will help you to feel more grounded. Lift the frontal hip bones. Feel the broadening across the shoulder blades. For another 2, maybe 3 deep breaths. Now, before we start to transition into the next balancing pose, picture your chest facing your left wall, your left leg reaching towards the rear wall into half moon pose. The right hand is going to the floor or a block, upper right corner of your right pinky toe. You might place the left hand on your left hip while you transition. Steady your breath, steady your gaze on the ground ahead of you, and begin to unravel the left foot flexed. Extend it behind you, almost paralleling the left leg to the floor. Set your right hand down on the ground or block, upper right corner of your right pinky toe, and turn your chest completely to face the left wall. Now, if you feel pretty stable, breath is balanced, you might consider raising the left arm up or adding any other variation like bending left knee to belly, catching top of the foot, and like the counter forces of a bow and arrow, kicking the leg towards straight as you pull it, and coiling the left side of your chest open, while keeping the center contained. Now you decide for another 2, maybe 3 more breaths, what variation of half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana, before you setting the left foot all the way to the rear of your mat, your arms open. When you arrive in Warrior 2, hook the right palm to face up. 1 inhale into Peaceful Warrior again, sweeping towards the rear of your mat. And exhale, cartwheel your hands to plank, maybe lower through vinyasa. What does your body need to feel balanced, to feel stable, and to know that you are listening to it? Arriving in Downward Dog, let's take a few breaths. Keeping the hips squared, starting with feet hips width apart. Inhale, raise the left leg behind you. As you exhale, round forward to plank, bending knee to nose, pause, and feel how you're spreading the shoulder blades apart, protracting, stabilizing using the lats. At the end of your next exhale, softly land left foot inside of left hand, so your feet remain hips width apart as you spin the right heel down. Slowly rising up into warrior one, facing your front wall. Now feel your way even through both feet, and especially root down through the outer edge of your right foot. Bending the front knee over the heel and straightening the back leg. Feel your two frontal hip bones facing forward as you align the bowl shape of your pelvis upright. Feel the belly engage. Now from here, bend the elbows apart. Cross the left elbow over the right. Hook your thumbs or wrap the forearms and palms. Draw your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press your forearms away from your face. Again, feel protraction of your shoulder blades. Keep your center contained by slightly lifting your frontal hip bones towards the bottom of your front ribs while the hips remain squared. Tilt your torso forward to lean diagonally, just hovering off your left thigh. Gaze past the front of your mat, but relax the eyes. Smooth back. Allow your weight to shift forward slowly as you flex the right foot off the ground and wrap the right leg over the left, bending both knees. You might also tuck the right toes behind left calf, scissoring right hip back, and sit a little lower to feel closer to the earth, to feel more grounded. Spine upright. Let's take a few last breaths. Eagle pose, Garudasana. So as you're present with your breath, do visualize the transition of the body before you physically do it. The right hand might want to be on the right hip in the transition to help balance. We're going to look at the floor ahead and place the left fingertips on the ground or a block, upper left corner of your left foot. Flexing the right foot to straighten the leg back about parallel to the floor. Half moon pose. Let's begin to unwind the right leg slowly as the breath steadies, gaze is on the floor ahead. Right hand might want to be on right hip. Find the floor or a block with the left fingertips, upper left corner of your left foot. Flex the right foot as you press the heel towards your rear wall, turning your chest completely to face your right wall. And there you are, and in flight, in half moon pose. Now, if you want to vary, you could raise the right arm, spread both wings. You could come into full moon, bending the right knee towards the belly, catching the top of the foot. Like the counter forces of a bow and arrow, straightening the right leg as you pull the foot. Who doesn't really straighten? And you open up the right inner shoulder. How's your center? Is it feeling alive and contained? And you feel your connection to the earth, although you're in flight, bringing the feeling of centeredness, no matter what position or external condition you're playing with. So take your time, listen to the quality of your breath, and with as much ease as you can, slowly step back to warrior two, setting the right foot down at the rear of your mat and windmilling your arms both open. Nice. And as you land there, flip the left palm, inhale, sweep it back into peaceful warrior. Exhale, lower off, optional vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Feel the breath in, rematch the breath out. Now look forward at the top of your mat. Bend your knees, bottom of the exhale, lightly. Walk or jump, feet to touch. Breathe in to lengthen halfway. Breathe out to fold. Now, if you do have yoga blocks, I invite you to place them at their lowest height, just slightly in front of your feet, where if you come into a half forward fold, your hands easily land on the blocks, and the blocks are shoulders width apart. If not, bend your knees as much as needed here to plant your hands flat on the floor. As you bend the knees, we're going to splay out the knees, lifting the heels, the inner edges of your feet, the big toes touch. Now the hands, walk them forward about a foot in front of your toes now. Now begin to look on the ground ahead of your fingertips. Imagine you're trying to see a reflection in a pond. and the pond begins much further forward than your fingertips. So just rock forward, look at your face, and then rock back. Try that a few times, and now be aware of protracting the shoulder blades. Wrap the triceps towards the rear of the mat. Hollow the belly like you've been practicing when we sustain tapping the knee to the tricep. Now maybe you want to bend the elbows down, making elevators out of your upper arms. Keep the arms parallel if so, and then start to hug the outsides of your upper arms like we did, maybe really close to the armpits. Now look ahead of your hands, much more ahead on the floor, and then just like a rocking chair, rock forward, maybe you stay on your toes, rock back. Maybe you rock forward and play with lifting a toe, maybe more toes, hollow the belly if you do, and then rock back. Now think of rooting down to rise up. That's with your hands, and that's with your knees. Rooting down into what they are rooting into, and lifting. Lift your pelvic floor, let the feet come together, they come off the floor, and then look forward. That allows you to shift the weight forward. Sometimes emotionally, it feels easier to put a pillow right where your face might land if it touches the ground, to put something soft there. Maybe a picture of someone that you love that you can kiss if you happen to fall on your face. I don't know. So try a few more rounds if you like. We'll meet sitting down, and that is Bakasana, often called crow pose. When you are sitting down, extending left leg forward, take your right thigh and cross it over the left. Keep the bottom leg straight with the foot flexed, or bend the bottom knee too and splay the feet wider apart. Gomukhasana in your legs. But let's do, actually we'll do full Gomukhasana with the arms. So if you have your strap, it's okay if you don't have it. So the right leg is on top, raise the left arm, and you can dangle the strap behind your back. Wrap the left tricep forward and bend the elbow behind the back of your head. So your left palm landing between the shoulder blades, if you don't have a strap, can catch hold of your shirt. Reach the right hand underneath, catch the other end of your strap or your shirt, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp, and then you can let go of it. Then root down again through both sides of your pelvis. Lift up from the bottom up of your spine. And broaden your chest. Draw both shoulder blades down. As you maintain the space in your throat, you might opt to fold forward for a few more breaths in cow face pose. Opening up your glutes, your outer hips, your sacrum, your lower back, shoulders, and anywhere else that your body's telling you it's opening up where you're feeling it. Gomukhasana, one more breath. Then leading with your chest, if you're bowing, inhale, slowly rise up. Let's release the arms and legs. Take the opposite leg, the left leg on top. Either the bottom leg can stay straight or splay the feet apart, gently flex them. Raise the right arm, so opposite leg on top, opposite arm lifts. Dangle the strap behind you if you have one. Wrap the tricep forward and bend the elbow behind the center of your head. Landing right palm between your shoulder blades, maybe catch hold of your shirt instead, and reach the left hand under behind you. Walking your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Root down and feel the rise up. Both energies allowing the feeling of stability. Broaden the chest and soften the shoulder blades down. Honor the space at your throat and perhaps explore bowing for a few more breaths. Feel the weight of your pelvis like an anchor, connecting you literally to Mother Earth. On your next inhale, begin to lift your sternum and then the rest of your spine. Release the legs. Let's come down to our backs for bridge pose. 2 back bends, bridge and possibly Urdhva Dhanurasana. So start the bridge by locating your feet with your arms down by your sides. Slide your feet back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Grounding the soles of your feet in the backs of your shoulders, tilt your chin slightly away from your chest. Then lift your pelvis and walk the arms closer together underneath your back ribs. Try to keep your arms straight and not flare the elbows apart, whether or not you clasp your hands. Feel what you're rooting into the earth with. The entire four corners of each foot as you spread the toes, the outer edges of your arms, possibly wrists, the backs of your shoulders or the sides of your shoulders, and the back of your skull as you tilt the chin slightly back. Now feel the parts that are rising. The heart center as you expand the lungs with deep breaths. The pelvis as you lengthen the thighs forward parallel. And then take your few last breaths. When you feel like you're ready to descend, use an exhalation to kiss the earth one vertebra at a time. Try not to hug the knees in. Once you've lowered the pelvis, sway the thighs side to side. Help to release the lower back if it's feeling a little stiff. Now choose your last back bend. You could take bridge again. You could take restorative bridge with a block under your sacrum like this, upward facing bow, or roll onto your stomach and catch your outer feet into regular bow. I'm going to walk you through upward bow if you choose that. Have your feet set up like bridge. Extend the arms up towards the ceiling and imagine squeezing a block between the elbows so they remain exactly shoulders width apart. Then bend the elbows up, flex your wrist, lower your palms flat alongside your ears, with your fingertips pointing slightly outwards and back towards the shoulders. Keep hugging the elbows close, being aware not to splay them apart. Now start like bridge, lifting the pelvis parallel. Then bring the top of your head to the floor and see if that feels okay on your spine. Keep the shoulder blades moving down the back, the arms parallel. Then maybe you push off the hands, and then you want to engage your hamstrings. Imagine that you're dragging the heels towards your hands, but don't actually move your feet. So you feel the backs of your thighs engaged while lengthening your thigh bones forward. Thighs stay parallel, arms stay parallel. Relax the neck. And then after 5 or so deep breaths, you choose go in reverse to come down. Bending the elbows, lowering the top of the head, and then tucking the chin to your chest, and slowly lowering one vertebra at a time. And then again, try not to hug your knees just yet when you do lower from your back bend. Just take a gentle moving twist of your choice. If you're on your stomach, you could stay there and windshield wiper the shins. And you could also windshield wiper the shins if you're on your back. Deeply inhale into your belly and slowly exhale to your mouth a few times. If you're on your belly, roll onto your back. Keep your knees bent, your feet on the floor, and separate your feet about mat width, so wider than hips width. And keep your knees just as wide apart as your feet as you drop both knees over to your right side. Make sure that your left knee is pointing down the center line of your mat. Now you could stay here if you're feeling a good stretch in the left lower back and hip, your psoas. If you're not yet feeling anything, you can pick up your right foot and cross your right ankle just above your left knee onto your left thigh. You could also add raising the arms overhead and catching hold of opposite elbows, relaxing the shoulders down the back. Now let's add just 3 more deep exhalations. Uncross the legs and arms. Step the feet again about mat width, knees the same width apart, and then drop both knees to the left side. Make sure your right knee is tracing the midline of your mat. Notice if this side feels sufficient, like this, like an open twist. If not yet, pick up your left foot, cross ankle above your knee, place the foot on your thigh. If your left knee feels tender, you could flex the left foot as you do this. You might also add switching the cross of your arms and catching opposite elbows again overhead. Now relax the shoulders. Let's take 3 more belly breaths. Long exhalations through the mouth. At the end of that exhale, unwind, bend your knees into your chest. You could rock in any direction that feels good. Happy baby's an option. And then we're gonna eventually find a comfortable seat upright. Coming into a forward fold by straightening both legs in front of you. If you like, use your strap around the balls of your feet. Flex your feet, hips width apart, press the big toe mounds forward. Ground your sitting bones, lift the heart, and then lead with it as you begin to fold. You could also walk your hands down the backs of your legs, maybe catch your ankles, maybe catch your big toes. Find a slight lift in your chest as you open your throat and lengthen from your lower spine, feeling the rootedness, the weight of your pelvis. Just take 3 last deep exhalations here in Paschimottanasana. Leading with your chest, breathe in to slowly rise up. So we're going to practice Sitali Pranayama, which is a cooling breath work before we go into Shavasana and then into meditation. So sitting tall, you can rest your hands in your lap any way that feels comfortable for you. And you might eventually close your eyes, but you might need to watch to start. So it's a cooling breath in which your tongue is shaped like a taco. You fold the sides of it. We've done this before. So you create a straw like this. Some tongues just don't do that. So if yours isn't doing that, don't worry. You can instead keep your tongue flat and just stick it out halfway like this. So the mouth is closed because you're going to inhale through the mouth. And then we're going to hold the breath, close the mouth, and touch the roof of your mouth with your tongue tip as you exhale through the nose. And that's it. So make the shape of your tongue that you need, taco or the flat. And let's begin. Inhale through the mouth. Close the mouth, hold the breath in. Touch the roof of your mouth with the tongue. Exhale through the nose. Again, inhale through the mouth. Close the mouth, tongue to roof. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, mouth. Close mouth, tongue to roof. Exhale, nose. Try about 3 more cycles on your own. When you finish the last round, you might like to keep your eyes open and just find your way into a comfortable supine Shavasana. Lying down, taking up space, closing your eyes, and relaxing to the natural flow of your breath for a few minutes. Now, for the remainder of 2 minutes, feel free to stay in Shavasana or to lift your body up to sit in a softly guided meditation for the root chakra. Mudras are hand gestures known to help stimulate certain effects within the body, help to regulate energy. And one grounding mudra is the earth mudra. So as you find a comfortable seat, if you're meditating, the earth mudra is done with the fingers. The thumbs touch the ring fingers like this. And then you can rest your palms face up onto your lap. So as you sit tall and relaxed, maybe closing the eyes, continue to breathe naturally. And just feel that natural flow. Feel the ground beneath your body. For those of us who are visual learners, you might like to visualize the base of your spine, that location of the root or Muladhara energy center. And with that area, the pervading color of red, like my shirt. But mostly, I invite you to feel the quality of stability. Feel the sturdy connection between your body and the seat at the area of your pelvis. I invite you to explore in your own way how you feel stable right now, dwelling, focusing on that quality. Perhaps appreciating the stability of the systems that are working together within your body for you to be practicing yoga and the physical yoga. And before ending this meditation, I invite you to consider reaffirming a commitment to yourself. Some way that you'd move forward to make sure that you're meeting your basic human needs. Feeling healthy in your body, feeling connected, perhaps to community, and feeling stable in your routines, including self-care. If you're still lying down and want to end with us, slowly begin to lift your body up. Find a comfortable seat upright and join your hands to meet at your heart. Let's close with a chant that we began with, the seed sound of the Muladhara chakra, Lam. Take a deep breath in. La. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Namaste, says Dillinger.